Traveller magazine. Today we're going to make a chocolate and almond millefeuille. To start with, we need to make some puff pastry. Process the flour, diced butter and a pinch of salt in a food processor until fine crumbs form. Add 250 ml of iced acidulated water and process until the mixture just comes together. Turn it out onto a lightly floured surface, knead until smooth, then form into a disc, wrap in plastic wrap and refrigerate overnight. Cut the block of puff pastry in half. You only need to use a half of the batch for this recipe, so refrigerate or freeze the remaining. Roll out the pastry on a lightly floured surface to 3 mm thick and refrigerate to rest. Meanwhile, preheat the oven to 200 degrees Celsius. Cut out two 12 cm by 25 cm rectangles from the pastry. Prick with a fork and place each on a baking tray lined with baking paper, then freeze until firm, about 30 minutes. Roll out the pastry disc on a lightly floured work surface to a 25 cm by 60 cm rectangle, ensuring the pastry is an even thickness all the way through. Brush off any excess flour with a dry pastry brush, then with the short edge of the pastry facing you, arrange half the butter slices in a single layer to cover the middle third of the pastry. Fold the top third of the pastry over the butter to cover, then arrange the remaining butter slices over the folded pastry. Fold up the bottom third of the pastry to cover. Turn the pastry clockwise so that the spine of the pastry parcel is to your left. Then turn the pastry over, keeping the spine on your left. Meanwhile, for the almond praline, roast the almonds on an oven tray until fragrant and toasted. Cool slightly, then coarsely chop and set aside. Stir the sugar and 60 ml of water in a small saucepan over medium-high heat until the sugar dissolves. Bring to the boil and cook without stirring, swirling the pan occasionally and brushing down the sides with a wet pastry brush until dark caramel. Remove from the heat, quickly stir in the almonds, then pour onto a lightly oiled oven tray and set aside to harden. Break the praline into shards and store in an airtight container until required. Roll out the pastry to another 25 cm by 60 cm rectangle. With a short side facing you, fold down the top third, then fold up the bottom third to cover. Turn the pastry clockwise, flip over and repeat. Wrap in plastic wrap and refrigerate until firm, 2 to 3 hours. Stand the pastry at room temperature for 10 minutes to soften slightly, then continue the folding, rolling and resting process 4 more times until you have rolled it 6 times in total. Wrap in plastic wrap and refrigerate for up to 2 days or freeze for up to 3 months. Brush the pastry lightly with egg wash, then place 4 small cookie cutters in the corners of each tray. Cover with a piece of baking paper, then top with another baking tray. This helps the pastry rise evenly. Bake the pastry, swapping trays halfway through to cook evenly until dark golden and crisp. Cool on the trays for 15 minutes, then cool completely on wire racks. For the chocolate cream, heat the chocolate and brandy in a bowl over a saucepan of simmering water, stirring occasionally until smooth. Transfer to an electric mixer, add the cream and whisk until soft peaks form. Refrigerate to firm up slightly for about 5 to 10 minutes. Finally chop half of the praline and set aside. Halve each puff pastry rectangle lengthways with a large serrated knife and place one rectangle on a serving platter to form the base. Spread with 1/3 of the chocolate cream, scatter with a little of the chopped praline, then top with another piece of puff pastry. Repeat the layering, finishing with a piece of puff pastry. Dust with icing sugar and crumble some of the remaining praline on top. Cut into slices with a large serrated knife and serve immediately. Hi, I'm Emma Knowles, Food and Style Director at Gourmet